I am going to get flamed so badly for this video. So recently in the mail, I've gotten 2 magazines. Both of them made me drop my mail, and one of them was because the cover was awesome, the other because the cover kind of made me sick. And as I told you, I'm about to get flamed for this. So 2 weeks ago, I got in the mail a magazine, and it said Saga. It was part of it was sticking out in the mailbox, and it said Saga. So I'm thinking, oh, this is my Star Wars Insider. I pulled it out to look at it, thinking like Chewbacca would be on the cover or something, or Lama Su or something. And then I pulled it out, and I dropped it because it wasn't Chewbacca, although it was hairy like him, and the hair did creep me out, and it still kind of creeps me out. And the other was because it was a series that I wasn't quite expecting, and I just didn't. I don't really care for the cover. And it's this. And I'm not saying the movie's going to be bad or that the books are bad. I'm just saying I don't like this pose. I looked through here, and most of the pictures for the movie were just poses, and I don't like that. I like action. I like movement. Like, people are moving, not just standing for a camera. And the pictures that they had of characters, like, interacting were good. It's just that the pictures, like this, just look bad. You can't see this, which you're kind of lucky, and this isn't on shelf, so you can't see it. But, like, the chest hair is just, like, every time I look at it, it creeps me out. His chest hair, the paleness, I understand the paleness. Thankfully, he wasn't sparkling in this picture, or else I may have lost my lunch. But, the lipstick, I mean, even I don't read Maddox that much, but I know red lipstick is stupid. I know that, I know Castro hats and the pregnant dresses, you don't wear that. It's just stupid. And I don't know, I don't like the background. It's just the black against his whiteness just emphasizes how pale he is. And it looks creepy. It doesn't look romantic, and it should be romantic. It looks like a cover of a bad romance novel, and it shouldn't. I don't know, I just don't like the cover. I just don't care for it. Like, I'm sure the movie it will probably be good, but I just don't like the cover of this, and sorry. But, on Monday, I got a magazine that I also dropped, but not because it was bad, but because it was awesome, and because I was going to the dentist, and I wasn't feeling happy, so this made me feel good, and it's this. And as any comic book fan should know, this is a preview pictures. This cover has Watchmen on it, which, as you should know, is one of the greatest comic books ever written. It's like this and Mouse, and like everything else looks like crap next to it. No offense to anyone who writes comics. I'm sure you're good, but this is Watchmen we're talking about. And basically, there's some problems I have with the cover. Like, Silk Spectra, it's a bad Photoshop of her. Like, it's cut poorly, I think. They took poses of the people just standing still, and they Photoshopped it, and I don't really care for that. She's the only one in a stupid pose, though. The others are just kind of standing normally, so I don't mind that so much. And it's also kind of more to show off the costumes, because fanboys complain about that. But I really like Dr. Manhattan here. You got the nice blues here. The background, the blue's okay, but like, again, with this one, the black, the opposite colors of the, like, black and white, it just emphasizes his paleness, which is creepy. And this one, I think the blue is kind of pleasant. If it was red or yellow, it would emphasize the blue, but I think the red would distract from him, and it would also hurt my eyes more to look at, and I've been looking at this one a lot, because, well, Watchmen is like one of my favorite books I've ever read, so I am very interested in what happens with this film. And I also like Rorschach. I like the mask. I think the mask looks decent. I thought it would be darker, but I don't know, compared to the film. But that's the other thing. Even though Watchmen is my favorite book, like, ever, I don't know if I want to see the movie. Because there's two parts of me. There's the comic book fan, and the comic book fan absolutely does not want to see this movie at all. He adamantly refuses to see any movie that's related to an Alan Moore creation. He does not want to see it at all. He's the one that gives 10-minute lectures to his friends on why the movie V for Vendetta is evil, and, well, you should read the book instead. And just so you know, I don't say that all the time about books, that you should read the book instead of seeing the movie, because I know sometimes people prefer the movies. It's just that this is Alan Moore, and that's like saying, oh yeah, so I was looking at a piece of shit for 2 hours, and that's a bad analogy. I should cut that out, but I'm not. That's a stupid analogy. Okay. So yeah, I don't know if I want to see the film, because that's the comic book side of me. But then the film side of me he wants to see the film. There's the film student. He loves film and wants to see how do you adapt like one of the most complex comics like ever written to fit in like a film. Like he's already narrowed it down to 3 hours for Watchmen, and then there's still like an extra straight to DVD movie coming out. Like how do you? And he's going to have to cut it down. Zack Snyder's going to have to cut it down to like 2.5 hours or less. Like how do you cut down something that you should spend hours and hours reading and dissecting into like a 2.5 film? Like I've constantly reread Watchmen, and like every time I read it, there's some other part that like connecting of the stories like together, and I always notice like something new every time I read it. Usually a lot of things actually, because it's amazing how in depth that book is. Even though like Alan Moore originally only planned it to be 6 issues, and then as soon as he started it, he found out it had to be 12. Like the fact that he was able to add in 6 issues of padding, which turned out to be like not padding, and like some of the best comic script ever written. Yeah, go figure. But yeah, then there's a part of me, the comic book fan, although he doesn't want to see the film, is kind of glad that the film's being made, because this is a chance for comic book films to stop being called comic book films. Because personally, I really don't like the term comic book film or superhero film, because I don't see, just because it's from a comic book, it's called a superhero film. Because why, like The Punisher, other than the fact that it was originally a comic, what exactly is the difference between like him and like a movie like Shoot 'Em Up or like a Die Hard film? It's a guy shooting stuff and stuff blowing up. Like Punisher's no different than it. The only difference is that it was originally a comic before it became a film. And I want, hopefully this movie will be the one that separates, that will finally like get rid of the term comic book movie or superhero film. Like this is the film, the comic like revolutionized the comic book industry and storytelling, and I hope that the movie will do the same thing for films and comic book adaptations. Because, oh yeah, I just wanted to add in something that whenever anyone asks me like what my favorite comic book film is, they're usually expecting me to say something like Superman or X-Men or Superman 2 or Spider-Man or Batman Begins or something. I always tell them either Persepolis, American Splendor, or Ghost World, and it always confuses people, because they have, like, first off, they have no idea what those films are, other than, like, one friend, because I saw Persepolis with her. But, like, anyone else, no one knows what those movies are. Like, even though they're really good, it's just that because people don't consider it, like, a comic book film. Because if you think about it, comic book films are, like, the only film that people will name, the first half of the name will be based on the source material. Like, you never hear a novel film or a play film. You don't hear that. Or a short story film. You never hear something from the inspiration. And I'm hoping that Watchmen will change that. And come March 6th, although I don't know if I'll be online for Watchmen, or March 5th actually, because I'd probably go for the midnight showing, or if I'm going to be home on Newsarama bitching about it, I do know this. One is that I'm hoping the film will help re-energize, help shape the film industry for good, and 2, that I'm going to be watching Mad Men right now while I'm uploading this. Season 2 premieres today, and I am psyched. This is like my new addiction. So, see you guys tomorrow.